Welcome to More Than Renovating, a renovate and real estate podcast. Our founder, Belinda Smith, talks to industry experts to provide you with the knowledge and information you need to make renovating for love and profit your reality. Belinda will also chat to some of her Renovation Mastery members, who are just everyday people doing extraordinary things, following their passions in the renovation and property space. So, let's jump straight into the episode. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Belinda Smith from Renovate and Real Estate, and joining me today is the gorgeous Lisa Hazel. We are on the podcast and you'll catch us on YouTube also under Renovate and Real Estate. The podcast is called More Than Renovating, and the reason I named the podcast More Than Renovating is because renovating is the actual thing, but there is so many moving parts to how to get a renovation done on time and on budget. But there's also the whole human side of what we do too. And so I'm so glad to have Lisa on today. Lisa's worked with me at the highest level inside Renovation Consultancy Mastery, which means Lisa has really committed to taking renovation to its highest level in your life, Lisa, and perhaps, eventually or ASAP, it depends on what happens in the next couple of years, but move from a standard day job into renovating on a more full-time basis. And today we're going to delve into that part between, swinging from an important full-time role, which Lisa has, into renovating full-time and just how to do the juggle. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Belinda. I'm very excited.
I'm so nice to have you on, and we know each other really well. So I know that this will just be a free-for-all chat. So for everybody listening from the outside to go in, we'll go into our innermost souls and just bear all. But by that I mean so many people, and my industry is the worst for it. The property industry gets out there and says, hey, this is easy, make money fast, 3 simple steps, all of those things that excite people when they're reading ads. And then when you get into it, there's a lot more to it than 3 simple steps or make money fast. So let's wind back and find out a bit more about Lisa. Where did you grow up, Lisa?
Oh, I'm an army brat. So I have grown up all over East Coast Australia. We moved a lot when I was little, went to many different schools, Toowoomba, Canberra, Sydney. I was really excited about going to Sydney because of fashion. I was always, I'm going to be fashionable. So that was really exciting. And then back to Brisbane before I started high school. So yeah, I've grown up in different parts of Australia, moving around a lot, many different houses, a lot of them rentals, because when you're in the army, it's short term. So I've seen a lot of interesting house designs and structures in my lifetime.
House design, some of those army house designs, I've seen those too. Defence housing comes in all different ways, shapes and sizes. Honestly, it's improved a lot over the years, I believe. Yeah. And so is there a family history? Is there some reason why you see property as a thing? Is it just through answering my ad or being now involved in our community? Where's that come from?
Yeah, look, so design's probably been in my blood, not from my mum's side. She can't draw at all, but both of my grandmothers were
Shout
artists.
out to Lisa's mum.
Yeah, love you, mum. She knows that. She's wonderful at so many things, but drawing is not one of them. So I've had a bit of an artistic upbringing from both of my grandmothers, both beautiful Hungarian, passionate women with huge sense of style and flair and creativity. And I think I've definitely got that in my blood. I think the design in terms of property and that element of it mostly came out from me probably through my teenage years when I was looking at career options and how I can hone my skills and what I'm good at. Communication and creativity and design and architecture sort of came up as one of those possibilities. But I also really loved movies and theatre, and I danced since I was for as long as I can remember. So growing up on stage and costume design and theatrical design and all of that has been of real interest to me for as long as I can remember. So when I was going through high school, it was really, do I get into film and television? Do I get into architecture? And both of those things were really interesting to me. I ended up going down the film and television path, but I've really come full circle now and I'm back into sort of design and architecture. And for me, I think it's the right time of my life that I'm maybe just a little bit more mature and seeing things through a different lens, so that it's more than just design and architecture for me. It's about sustainability. It's about supporting women in business. And there's big visions for me in how I can give back to community. So it's probably just right time, right place.
So we've talked a little bit about your big vision. Do you want to go into that a little bit more? Because I know it's interesting to everyone. And to be honest, you just talked about having creativity in your spirit, and also a belief in sustainability. I think personally, if you're not in that world, if you're not scratching that itch, that there's always this feeling of I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, why aren't I? Why aren't I doing this? And is there a way I can do this? So let's talk about your big dream and how it just brings all of that together.
Coming into this program, it really was about scratching that itch. So, I've got a successful career in government and communications. I've climbed the corporate ladder. I'm in a good position. I've got a really good income through that. But for me, it's about feeling that need or sense of purpose in terms of something bigger. And it was really a soul-searching expedition that sort of led me to meeting you and this program and the dawn of Celestial Place. So that kind of leans into the title of my business. Yeah, the vision for me was big. It involves quite a few components, and I'm starting, with the consultancy phase at the moment, but the dream is to be able to support local business by providing an outlet for homewares and local designers and artworks to sell their products through my site and through my reputation. Once that's secondary to that is being able to give back to community. So renovating or flipping properties for people in need. So say someone who's lost their house in a flood, as we experience a lot in Queensland, or the fires in Victoria, or, a woman in domestic family violence, we need to provide homeless people with properties. And that doesn't mean that they can't live somewhere that's beautiful and homey and makes them feel comfortable and safe as well. So there's a lot of components to my vision. I know it's a big vision, but I'm taking it step by step, and I'm really enjoying the ride so far.
I think one of our initial conversations was, I totally understood your big dream, but I could see how complex it all was in a big package. And so we chipped away to identify somewhere to start. And I think that's so important. And you've done that so beautifully, because you are organised, because you're committed, even when you're tired. We'll talk about this in a little bit, a little moment. Even when you're tired, you're committed to getting the small things done that make the big difference in the end. Chipping away at this big dream of yours, one part at a time, is what will get you there. And you're really on your way compared to when we met. I will never forget your face at it's making me, I'll get really teary if I think about it. I'll never forget your face at the workshop when I started to talk about Renovation Consultancy Mastery and how it is a combination of building brand. It is a combination of the renovation. It's the source, it's the tool we use, but it's all about building brand. It's getting ourselves out there, and it's moving into a career that lights us up. It's moving into a way of earning an income that makes us feel good along the way. And you can't do it in 2 seconds, and you can't skip some of those steps. And your face told the story. When I looked at you, you were looking at me, and it was like, you were looking at me like, can I help you? Or is this lady for real? And I'm looking at you going, come on, let's go. So what made you jump in the end?
I think it was FOMO in the end.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any younger. I know I'm not in my 60s and looking to retire yet, but the sooner I can get to retirement, the better. But even if I was to retire, I'd be probably doing some sort of work, and I just want it to be work that I'm passionate about. Yeah. So it wasn't the marketing that daunted me. I'm quite an efficient marketer and communicator in my own right. I'm familiar with building websites and all of that sort of thing. For me, it was about just the size of getting back into business. I've had small business before, and just the responsibility of that. And obviously I have my own responsibilities in a family. I've got 4 kids in the household. We're still got 2 in school, and 2 have successfully gone through, and just being able to give them opportunities that we had too. So that is something that I need to be aware of is making sure that we're looking after them as well while I go out and achieve my dreams. And I also want to inspire them to go out and achieve their dreams as well. So, it's kind of a two-pronged attack for me, doing what I want to be able to do, but also doing it responsibly so that we can, continue to give back to our family as well.
So FOMO, big dreams, doing something that you knew you could fit in some way, shape or form. So let's talk about the fitting in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fitting in. All right. You do have 4 kids. You do have a partner, husband. You do work full time. How many hours are you away from home in your workplace? Let's talk about the time you leave home to the time you get home.
Yes, so I'm working 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. 3 days of the week I'm traveling into town, and that is, Brisbane's not a big city, but the traffic is there's a lot to be desired in terms of traffic in Brisbane, let's put it that way. So yeah, look, that does take a big chunk of my time, and I'm good at my job and I'm passionate about doing some good work there as well. There's in government we're working for the people, so it's an important job, and I'm passionate about making sure that I sustain that well while also following my dreams. So it has been a bit of a juggle, but I just when it's something that you really love to do, it doesn't seem like it's that big a job. I enjoy doing it. I lose hours working on my business because I love it so much.
Yeah, and creatively and taste, housing, design, tile choice, things like that. You appear to do it very easily. You've got the goods to really take this anywhere you like. Lisa briefly mentioned the name of her company before. It is the Celestial Place, celestialplace.com.au. I'll announce it again at the end of our chat together, but you're really welcome to reach out to Lisa directly if you'd like to work for her in some way, shape or form, or you need help on your renovation project, or you just want to meet up with Lisa and have a bit of a chat about, her journey. It's been phenomenal working with you, Lisa. I know that some days in amongst the juggle, you'll come home tired, well, as tired as the rest of us, I guess. And I always give homework when I'm coaching people because I think it just helps people keep moving along from one week to the next. Otherwise, everyone is in a feel-good space, but they don't really move along. And I think it's results people actually pay for and want and expect. And it makes me feel better and it makes everybody else feel better. So I give homework. Now, some will and some won't. Most will, because I don't know why people are quietly terrified enough of me to actually get it done. But I remember one night I said to everyone, I really just want you to do a video announcing your renovation consultancy business and letting people know a bit about what it is, who you are and what it is that you do. And I didn't expect perfection. And I knew out of everyone, you were the busiest in the room, let's say that. And you just came through and you did this amazing video quality by seeing your face, how tired you were, but how committed you were to actually getting through that one job. And it says a lot about you. I've met people who are similar, and a lot of people just won't push the needle enough. What is it that makes you push yourself when you're tired to do all of the things that you have to do?
Look, I think the biggest takeaway for me out of this has been, like, I'm only racing myself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I have big dreams and big visions, but I don't need to get there today. And if I can take one action every day towards my business and building that business, then that's something. And it's amazing how much you can achieve in a short period of time when you actually just pull your finger out and do it. So for me, I am a bit of a perfectionist and I like things to be perfect, but I also can't get things done if I'm sitting on it and waiting for a perfect opportunity or
until you really feel like it. Yeah.
So I've had to learn to let a lot of that go. And for me, it's what I think is perfect or not perfect might still be pretty damn good compared to, what I could do if I didn't have the skills that I had. So it's about just getting it done really at the end of the day. And one thing a day, chip away at it one step, and that breaks that massive overwhelm down into sizable steps that are manageable.
I've got a little note on my computer that says, Belinda, don't think, just do. And it's just to remind me of not to overthink and plan about how to go about something or to put anything off. Just get started. Once you're in it, and you can get things done and a lot of stuff done every day by doing that. I've been super proud of the way that you've committed to your future, really. It's so rewarding for me as a coach, but it's not about me. It's about you guys getting through and getting what you want, which is clients, which is more money, which is the event, which is the ability to go and renovate for profit for you or somebody else's on houses that you own or don't own. And, you know, just if you want to quit your day jobs, that's awesome. If you want to stay working, that's awesome too. But just managing it and getting good enough at it where there's great money in it, but it's not so tiring. But there's that transitional phase, and I really think that you're right in it right now. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the first work that you've done as a consultant.
Mm-hmm. So I've recently completed a project in Rockley as somebody that I knew. So it was a great starting point, I think, just to get my foot in the door and just prove to myself I knew what I was doing. So that was a really great opportunity. And it was a sizable task. It was a complete internal renovation of a, beautiful 1955 Queenslander. We had a very short time to be able to turn this. Yeah, we were given about a month to do. Yeah, correct. And it was given to us in March, and we needed to have it done by end of June. So it was a very short time frame. And look, I knew I probably had the capability of doing everything myself, but at the end of the day, it came down to timing. And so there was an opportunity for me to work really closely with someone who I'd met through this network, beautiful Sue Goodwin. She worked with me in order to do the management of the project. So she took care of organising all of our trades. And I'm learning quickly that is not my favourite part of the renovation project, cold calling people and asking them to come have a look at its site. But I'd learnt a phenomenal amount from her just about how everything fits together and the timelines. And it was just a beautiful collaboration between two passionate women. For a young lady who's got her first property, she's a phenomenal young lady as well. So to be, early to mid-20s and owning her own property in Rockley in Brisbane is a pretty big feat in this day and age. And I'm hugely proud of her. And we've been able to pull off a really beautiful, at the end of the day, it wasn't the largest budget, but we walked out of there and she's just so proud of showing off her house to everybody. Her mum loves it. Her family loves it. She puts it on social media all the time. And so she's really proud of her house. Yeah. And it was just really great experience for both Sue and myself to work together on that project.
It was actually quite a big project for you to take on. When you gave me the details, I thought, oh, okay. This is go. I said, go for it, Lisa. In my heart of hearts, I'm thinking, oh, this is sizable.
You tell me now.
Tell me now. You tackled it so beautifully. And the smartest thing you did was understanding that you can't do everything all on your own. I can't do everything all on my own. The sooner we start to look around us for resources for the people who are heartfelt, who care about a project as much as we do, which is Sue all day long, and surround ourselves with people with the same goals and the same aspirations, but also the same work ethic, then it's a winning strategy and everyone's happy in the end. So I was delighted that you did that project, and I've seen the befores and the afters, and the difference is amazing. And so were your tile choices, just a natural, because of your creative talents, I guess, and your interest in fashion and design, your ability to put two tiles together and the taps and do those things on a budget and create a really beautiful look. I can identify where you pull back on the spend, but most people wouldn't. Most people would walk through that home and just say, wow, it has the wow factor. So congratulations. You're the full package. You're a full package, Lisa. No, it's awesome. I think you did really well. Okay, next project.
So I'm working on a mid-century modern bathroom and toilet. We have got some really interesting sort of structural changes that we're going to make to the bathroom in terms of supporting, so that we can open up a wall and put a beautiful full-length niche through the middle of the bath. It's not a big space. So while the client initially really was opposed to the idea of a shower over a bath, in the end, she really wanted a big vanity. So we've been able to sort of work out, shower over the top of a bath isn't what it used to be. It's not sort of a caged in with the, orange old glass that,
and the horrible old shower curtain that sticks to your legs. They're so much better now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're sort of working down the sustainability trail in that one as well, in terms of we found a beautiful sideboard buffet that's mid-century. It's been restored quite well. What we need to do now is make sure that we can seal that and make it waterproof so that we can turn it into a vanity, and so that vanity will last, because the last thing you want is to put a piece of furniture in there that's not going to last and need replacing in a few years' time. So, there's some steps involved with that. Beautiful white penny tile flooring, which was something that she was quite adamant about. I think it's probably her background and heritage. She just has a thing for the penny tiles. So we started with that, and we've really sort of pulled images from Pinterest. There's not a lot in terms of penny tile flooring, but yeah, we've just sort of worked out there's a beautiful vision that's coming for that too, with some nice seafoamy greens and some sconce lighting as well. But the vanity will really be the key to it, I think.
That's awesome. My electrician says to me all the time, wall sconces are life, because I keep saying it to him. Wall sconces are life, Drew. Yeah, you can create a lot of mood and effect and good lighting for makeup and things like that with a good wall sconce. And yeah, great design, Lisa. You're just a natural at it. What's it like when you're working with a client and their vision, they might not have been able to do it on their own, and their vision starts to come to life through you?
Oh, that's the winning key element for me. That's what makes my heart sing. I could walk into a space and just start designing, but when you're working with a client, it's really about what they want and what they need. So, while glass bricks mightn't be your cup of tea, Belinda, if that's what the client wants, then we work with that.
Because I remember the 80s.
I was hell-bent on trying to get that in there.
I'm older than you.
I'm seeing them everywhere, so they will come back.
So am I. Every time I see one, I send you a photo.
So yeah, at the end of the day, it's what the client wants. So, I'm not, pink isn't my favorite color, but we worked with a lot of pink in Rico's property at Rockley, because the neutral tones and the warm earthy textures was what she wanted. So we worked with, and the floorboards in that place were divine. So beautiful natural Queensland hardwood that we didn't want to cover up. We wanted to restore that, and which might have cost a little bit more. It's really hard to find people who will stain and refurb natural floorboards at the moment. So we were very fortunate to work with two guys on that, and I thank them profusely for working together. But the floorboards and the warmth in that brought in the pinks of the tiles, brought in the wood textures and the tones and the marbles and the creams. That it's about harmony throughout the entire house. So, for the client to want something, you start there and you add and enhance that. You pick one or two features that they're really passionate about and work with that.
When I'm talking about Renovation Mastery and I'm talking about my programs, we talk a lot about profit, and we kind of have to, because people want to know. But I don't think we talk enough about how a beautiful home makes us all feel on the daily, from the minute we wake up and look out at our window to we look at our surroundings and just appreciate what we've accomplished, whether that's big or small, whether it just be one room that lights us up. For your new client, that new bathroom, every time she walks in there, she'll just appreciate the freshness and the newness and the mid-centuryness of that bathroom and how you've put it together. And there's a lot of personal satisfaction in creating beautiful spaces, but also appreciating them ourselves and also for our clients. The look on other people's faces is incredible when we're trying to, we're thinking about, sometimes we get to an end of a project and it's been a lot, and then to see somebody else really enjoy all of our labor, it's pretty cool. And it's very underrated and understated. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about it.
I think, and that's what the Celestial Place is really aiming to do, is just provide you with space that makes you feel good, because, the property is not cheap, but it's where your home is, where your heart is, and it should make you feel good and relaxed, and you should find peace and security and harmony in the place that you're living. And if you're not, then it's time to declutter.
Don't look behind me. In fairness, I'm mid-move. But I agree. And it just takes some desire, I think, to have a nice surrounding, even if you're renting, even if you're there not on a permanent basis, just to create some things around you or surround yourself with some things that have meaning, that connect you to a space, just so that you come home. That moment where you come home, someone does it on an air conditioning ad, I think, where they just come home and drop their keys on the table and fluff their hair and take their shoes off, take the bra off, sit down on the lounge, all those things we do to get comfortable at the end of the day. That's what our home's all about, that moment.
Yeah.
Sustainability. Where's your love for sustainability come from?
Look, I've always been a pretty resourceful kind of person. I'm not going to say we lived in a frugal household because we were very fortunate. And, looking back, I think maybe perhaps it's my mother's upbringing too, and her parents who came through the war and didn't have a lot and were, living off food stamps and all of that sort of stuff. So, she was raised by her father to be quite vigilant with her budgeting. She was full-time work, dad was full-time work. So I wasn't brought up in a household where my parents were stay-at-home parents at all. So, we've always been workers. And I think probably that's instilled in me a sense of not wanting to waste things. So I really I try and recycle as much as I can as possible. But certainly through my early days in crafting and designing and whatnot, I would utilize what I had rather than going to buy new. So my former business was hats and accessories. I made hats and accessories out of bits of scraps, out of natural fibers and twigs and plants and all crazy things. But so I think the sustainability nurturing has always been there. But I think from a property perspective and renovation perspective, there is so much waste. And I just cannot fathom how much we're putting into landfill as a result of the work that's being done on construction sites. I live in a fairly new estate and I walk past every day just the massive bins of waste, and that kind of eats at me a little bit. And if I can do one thing to try and influence and change in terms of how can we be more resourceful with our tools, with our materials, with anything. So I've become pretty good at hunting down a good deal on Facebook Marketplace. In the property at Rockley, we got all of the curtains were secondhand, but they look twink and brand new. Sometimes people just walk into a house that they've bought and they don't like the curtains, so they get rid of them.
Yeah.
So you can always find a really good bargain, and that way we're not buying new. There's life and goodness and reusable assets and materials that you can find pretty much anywhere. So my mission is to try and utilize and tap into that as much as possible and try not to throw out as much.
I think the nicest rooms and the nicest spaces come from a really well-designed, well-crafted, eclectic mix of new and those pieces that are special. I've talked about it before, I think once before. I've got a cupboard that I grabbed off the rubbish pile from the neighbour. So the neighbour was actually turfing it out, and I took it into my home. It's been back in the early 90s, was blue with folk art on the doors. Thanks, Jen up the road did the folk art. I'm not that clever. Then, but the blue was really pretty. My husband did the lattice. It used to have glass doors. And then I moved into a real more rustic appeal when the maroons and the yellows are in. So I did a black base on it and a crackle, a mustard kind of crackle. Sounds terrible. It probably is now if you saw it. Then I moved into Hampton. So my husband pulled out the lattice that he put in and put in some little louvers for me. And I did it all white and Hamptons. And the joke is actually it only made undercoat. I actually didn't even get the final coat. So when I popped it in a property to sell, no one knew. Everyone walked past, thought white coat. And then it's black. It's actually black now for a house that's kind of a little bit Mediterranean. So, the one cupboard for uses over 20 years of time, really proud of that cupboard. Yes, I could chuck it out a million times over. Yes, I probably should. But at the same time, there's kind of a feeling of pride that I can keep this one piece of furniture going and I can revamp it and it looks good in every space. And no one's ever said to me, is that piece of junk you grabbed off the neighbour's pile in 1990? But anyway, it's just a fun thing to do. And I think a lot of renovators come from the world of just revamping furniture. It's a really nice place to start. It's just reinventing a few things. And, paint does a lot, just freshens, and moving things around helps as well. So I respect all of that. I think it's very, very cool. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this celestial place, where you see it going? What kind of time frame do you have? What's next on your list? Let's just start there. What's next on your hit list, Lisa?
Well, I need to get stuck into some social media.
Don't we all?
I have a background in social media, so I'm comfortable to do it. It's just a timing thing for me. And I'm also sort of pacing myself so that I can step easily from one job into making this my everything. So, I'm not pushing hard, but I am really passionate about it. So it's not like it's sitting there doing nothing. It's just baby steps for me. Building my confidence, building my scope and templates and all of
Yes.
that sort of stuff, so that, this second project that I'm working on is faster than the last project that I'm working on. And then from there, it will just all become second nature, so that I can sort of roll into projects more fluidly. And that will be the next probably year or so for me. And then I'll probably start looking at the homewares line and how I can work with local designers and suppliers to provide an outlet for marketing their goods, because I like to support local business.
Yeah.
And then once I've leapt from my government job into my full-time business, I'd like to then look into the charity work and give back. So I'm hoping that will happen within the next 5 years, but if it's sooner, then that's wonderful.
Yeah, I'd really love to support you in that as well. Just for everybody who doesn't know Lisa as well as I do, what's your superpower? Do you want me to say
my perfectionism and just getting it done.
Hey,
that was big. Yeah, taking the leap, jumping in.
Yeah. Out of everyone that I've ever met that started this program or working with me, out of everyone, you had at the very beginning probably the least amount of renovation experience. And when I mean by that, I don't mean you've never renovated before, but I mean you hadn't done whole house flips and you hadn't done the big stuff, the big building and the small developments. And some people come through the programs really full on. But oh my goodness, more importantly, you have this ability to just say yes to things that terrify you very slightly and just make them happen. Just organize things and put all your ducks in a row until you move through something that I know worries you. I can see the expression on your face, but you just make it happen. And I've been so pleased to support you in doing that. But in the end, it's all your ability to put, to make things happen around you and to be resourceful and just be clever. It surprises me how people feel like they need to have done a lot before pursuing renovation as a career. And the truth is you just need to rely on your ability to be organized and to be resourceful. And I'm so pleased if I've had an impact on you in any way and pulling you back from doing things that are 110% perfect back to 95%, which is perfect. Where you operate at 95% is perfect. I can never find fault with anything that you do. And I think clients are blessed to have you on their side organizing anything for you. In closing, why do you think people reach out to someone like you for help on a renovation project? What do they need the most help with?
I think it's about coordinating their ideas. A lot of people have ideas. They know they want to do a renovation. They know they hate their bathroom. They know they hate their kitchen. There's something that needs to be done, but they've just got so many ideas that they can't see how to pull it together. I'm a very visual person. My husband, Rob, he's like, I don't understand how you can see things. And it's in my head. I can see how things will work together. So I think that's probably the greatest way that I can sum up people who need help, is because they've got so many ideas or no idea. They just know that they want some change and they don't know where to start. And they also, how to go through the process of then organising trades to come into site and expressing that vision to them. So yeah, I think a big part of my job is communicating with the client to help them to realise their vision, and then communicating with trades to help the trades realise the vision. So yeah, that's probably the crux of it, I think, is just realising people's vision.
Yeah, perfect. I agree. What area are you happy to be working in, if anybody's listening? What kind of demographic? Brisbane, out of Brisbane, like how far will you travel?
Oh, look, one day I'd love to go do a flip in Tuscany. I think that would be really lovely.
I'm coming. I'm bringing my paintbrush for that one.
Look, initially I was thinking, of refurbing people's Airbnbs, because I've stayed in one or two that I think, just you walk down to Vinnie's and you can pick up a whole suite of, nice cutlery and fill up the, wardrobes and, that sort of stuff. Really, like, for me, it's just about making somebody happy. So, I love Sydney. I love Melbourne. I will travel.
For the right
I think
job.
time frame's a bit of an issue, but we're so fortunate to be able to work remotely these days too.
Correct.
And I've heard of other people in this team who have really managed whole jobs remotely. For me, I like to be able to see and touch and feel things. So that's probably part of something but we've got a great network and great connectivity for most part of this
That's
country.
Australia.
So
Yeah.
we're fortunate in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining me today for our More Than Renovating podcast. And thank you for being really transparent. And if anybody would like to work with Lisa or contact her directly, she's available at thecelestialplace.com.au and highly recommended from my personal viewpoint. Honestly, I just know, look, really the people that do well in renovating are the people that they lead with their heart. They just try and do their best by people all the time. And that's you in spades. So I know that you won't have any trouble at all taking your business to wherever you want it to go.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be part of this community. Renovate and real estate has been a big part of my success, I feel. Just the people and the network and the friends that I've made through the program have been sensational, and we really just lift each other up. It's a beautiful place and a beautiful community to be part of. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. I'm very proud of that. Very grateful. And yeah, I get teary and silly whenever anybody says anything like that. So on that note, we'll go.
Thanks,
Lisa.